Rolling. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. That's cringe the fuck. Okay, so on today's topic, we're going to be finding out why you do not have friends. Out of many things you do not have. Cue the intro. Okay, so sad note. I also have very limited supply of friends. And I found out why, so you might be the same as me. I was told that I have an old soul. Whatever that means, I don't know, it's an old soul. So, like every other curious person, I went to YouTube to find out what an old soul is, or what having an old soul in a young body means. Whatever. And now we're going to go to like 7 signs you have an old soul in a young body. Stuff like that. So we're going to go through the 7 signs and let's see how many I'd have and how many you have too.
Hi Psych2Goers,
Hello.
and welcome back to another video. Have you ever been told you're an old soul?
Yes,
Were you confused about whether it was a compliment or not?
definitely.
It may feel odd to be called an old soul, but it's actually a big compliment. Who knew, right?
Yeah.
Being an old soul means you think and behave more maturely than people your age typically do. You have more knowledge and wisdom than expected and act accordingly. Does this sound like you? Have you ever felt too old for the people around you?
Yeah.
Now, before we begin, we acknowledge that more than psychology, this video revolves around a spiritual topic. Even though the concept of old souls is not scientific, they are still something that a lot of people believe in. So, if you're curious to find out whether you're an old soul, stay tuned for 7 signs that tell you you indeed are. Number 1. You focus on the people around you. Have you ever regretted
they're
not
like
spending
2.
time with someone when they
choice.
were around? It could have been a friend before they moved away, or a sibling who went to college. It can be easy to get caught up in your own life and goals while forgetting to treasure the people around you. Old souls tend to know this, so they make a special effort to be empathetic and show appreciation for the people around them. It's a huge sign you're an old soul if you take the time to focus on making meaningful connections with the people around you. Number 2, you like to learn. Do you have many subjects you'd like to learn about? Is it hard for you to pick just one favorite subject? While no one likes to learn about something they're not interested in, old souls are more likely to want to learn in general. You acknowledge that learning is an essential part of life that can be quite fun. If you have a strong desire to learn, you're likely an old soul. Number 3, you see the bigger picture. When something bad happened, did you ever think it was the end of the world? It can be tempting to think like that, since sometimes it does feel like the worst thing ever. However, old souls are more likely to realize that life isn't make or break, and no one thing defines anyone. You recognize that almost everything will pass, so you try to avoid getting too fixated on anything. While everyone feels embarrassed, if you can accept and move past it, you're probably an old soul. Number 4, you think things through. Do the people around you seem a little too reckless?
Yes.
Are you the only one of your friends who thoroughly plans? If so, there's a good chance you're an old soul. Old souls have more insight and experience, which makes you more likely to think things through. Instead of doing things on a whim, you carefully plan for the best outcome possible. If you're known as the planner in your friend group, you're probably an old soul. Number 5. Material possessions don't tie you down.
Because I don't have shit.
Have you ever felt like your worth was based on how expensive your possessions were? Whether it be clothes, electronics, or brand names, it can be easy to base your life upon the things you own. However, old souls are more likely to realize that material possessions don't measure your worth or how accomplished you are. You don't hold on to items just for the sake of having them, and often have an easier time getting rid of things you no longer need or want. If you're often the only one out of others your age who doesn't rely on material possessions, there is a good chance you're an old soul. Number 6. You lead a simple and balanced life. Does it ever feel like things are going a million miles an hour? Between balancing your social, work, and personal life, you may end up feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. Knowing this, old souls try to keep their life simple and balanced with plenty of time for self-care. You know, trying to do everything at once isn't good for anyone's mental health. So, if you find yourself taking your time to do things instead of rushing for something, you're likely an old soul. Number 7. You're the advisor in your friend group.
Yeah, because you're
Do
all
your
fucking
friends
dumb.
constantly seek you out for advice? Are you ever labeled as the mom of the friend group? If so, it's a great sign you're an old soul. Old souls seem to have experience and wisdom well beyond their years, so tend to give the best advice. Your friends may have recognized this and decided that you're the best one to help with their problems.
So we went through the 7 reasons why I can count my friends on one hand and still have 5 fingers. Ouch. Yeah. So I did my research on if having an old soul is actually weird. It's quite, so it's not normal, but it's not unexpected. If you grew up with very strict parents, if you're black, yes. If you grew up with very strict parents and like places you had to mature quickly, you're going to have an old soul. It's not weird, very normal. No, not normal, expected. Having an old soul, pros and cons. Cons are you're not going to have a lot of people who understand you. You're not going to be able to express yourself properly because not a lot of people would be able to relate. Most of your friends are going to be older than you, way older than you. Like, I'm speaking 10 plus years older than you. You enjoy being around elderly people. You enjoy listening to literally random, the most random things. Let's say you're somebody who likes like science field, the whole science. You might not be taking that course, as long as it has to be science or something, just info. You love info. It's just how, it's like one of the pros, that's one of the pros. You get to think deeply. You don't sound like a fool when you speak. You're going to be in the presence of people older than you, meaning you get to learn more, which is a good thing. You're going to be placed with people who know more. You get a chance to know more. You won't be considered as like young. Your age would not really matter at some point, but sometimes it's going to be very obvious that you are not your age. Pros and cons. So living with an old soul is probably a vibe you get. If you feel like you have an old soul, there are many of us. Reach out. Reach out. You're going to be bored. You're going to be bored. You're going to overthink things. You're going to have like a very rigid schedule. It's going to be weird to everybody who you explain your life to. It's just you. Be you. Do you. This has been a very nice topic for me because like, it feels very personal. Hopefully, this makes sense to you too. You can check out my other videos. I just started, man. It's a surreal feeling. It was weird. Just trying to warm up to it. It's standing in front of the camera. It's weird. Talking to yourself. I'm just imagining somebody standing outside that door now and I sound like I'm mad. Anyways, like, subscribe, G's, comment, talk. You know, I need friends.
Subscribe now.